And then they talk about the silver bullet, the silver shield. Well, I always said real silver bullets. To hell with the bullshit. I was into buying some of the gold, the numismatic, because the numismatic can't be confiscated. So you buy the numismatic in the slabs. I was buying that stuff in the mid '90s. I don't know. It's probably before some people were born, practically. And way before that, I always kept the half dollars, the Kennedy half dollars, and the junk silver and stuff like that, and the 40% silver. And I still got that stuff from way back, So I always kind of knew what the Federal Reserve was about, so big deal. But in a real event of an economic collapse, what's actually going to be worth stuff? Cigarettes. I don't smoke, but cigarettes will be worth more than silver in some ways. I mean, not one for one, but it'll be more tradable. More tradable. A good example is to look at what happens in other countries. They don't necessarily walk around with silver. They walk around with stuff that you need. And if everybody's scared, bullets. Bullets will be worth a lot of money. Now, what I used to do, since I'm slick, and he's slick too. Oh, by the way, I want to mention that I think Lloyd Blankfein, everybody's into these alien conspiracies with David Icke and everything. He's probably part large gray. The large gray aliens, I think he is. Look at that. I mean, look at the ears, the eyes, the mouth. He's probably an alien. So you're probably right. The Illuminati is controlled by aliens, and we're all screwed. So whatever. Now I want to talk about silver a little bit more. I think that it's not going to be it's going to go up a lot in investment as an investment, and hopefully everything's going to be fine. Bernanke's just going to print a bunch of money, and silver's going to go through the roof. That's the way I think it's going to play out. But if we have this big economic collapse, guess what's going to happen? I think it's going to be like, it's going to be like cigarettes will be a very practical thing to have. Bullets. And if you owned her, you could sell her for a good price. You know what I mean? That's the only kind of, that was always the joke that we said in the circles. No matter how much money these guys get, the women own it. The women own it. That always, that's the one thing. And it's like, that's the business to be in. That's the silver business to be in. That's a renewable commodity that could be sold over and over and over again. And if you got that kind of silver and you own that kind of silver, you're doing fine. But in event of a complete, total economic collapse, this kind of stuff is actually worth more than your silver coins, bullets. People buy this stuff because they're scared. I looked at the Ruger firearms sale, the stock chart, and actually it went down some. It went down I think the stock went from like 50 something down to 35. Now it's increasing again. So, but actually, if you would have bought Ruger firearms instead of silver, stock ticker, you would have been way the hell up. From like a couple years ago, from like say early 2010, you'd have been way the hell up. That was a very smart investment. So actually, physical assets like bullets are probably very smart investment. What I used to do, and I'll tell you, this is the kind of person I am, so you get the idea. On a base, a lot of people used to drink beer. So they used to throw out the beer cans, take all them cans, get them all, throw all the stuff in the El Camino, crush them down, and you get a check. Every weekend you get a check. Freaking take them into the scrap place. What do you do with that money? From the scrap cans, buy guns and bullets. So all that shit was free. Turn it from one kind of metal, empty beer cans, into bullets and stuff that shoots them. That's what I did. That's no bullshit. So I'm like the only person that does stuff like that, because I'm crazy. I want to point out something about palladium again. You know, the Russians been playing games with this shit for like ever. And if you look back in Google about Russian palladium, stocks depleted August 31st, 2009. They're talking about the Russian stockpiles depleted. I want to tell you that around mid-November 2011, the Russians dumped as much palladium on the market as they ever did. They dumped a record amount, even though they had a record demand for 2011, and there was going to be a shortage. They drove the price down. That was why it went well below $600, because they dumped that much palladium on the market. It's almost like if you want to judge the palladium market, read the stories and then do the opposite. Because usually when they come out with a story like that, the price changes the other way around. You know, also you look back here, like all these different things, you know, talking about 2012. Surprised the supply lasted this long. They got supplies over in Switzerland, so they're going to dump it out on the market at one point in time. But long range, I think this metal is going to go up a lot. It's going to be worth more than gold. It's going to go to the ratio of around platinum to gold, 1.4 to 1. And actually palladium might outperform platinum. There's only one mine where most of the stuff comes from. And it's used not just for cars. That's the thing. I gotta, you know, I don't give a shit people miss out on this. I know what I'm doing. I already bought it. Now, I bought my palladium around spot price. The highest I paid was 220 spot. How's that? Spot. Some of it was well below 200. A lot of it was well below 200. Palladium inventory exhausted by 2011. See another one. You know, talking in 2010. They're talking it was going to be exhausted then. They come out the same bullshit story every day. You know, every year. And you look today, palladium's pulling back, but so is everything. Palladium's getting hit harder, but you know, it springs up harder. The one thing I expect though with this metal, long range, you're better off buying palladium than gold, because gold is going to go way the hell up. Palladium is actually going to be worth more than gold. Don't underestimate the Russians, man. They know what the hell. These guys, they have an interest in pushing this metal up too. They do. But I went into a number of reasons before why it's going to come out in the future for different things. But you know, also though, like with your silver investment, it's not a good investment for an end of the time scenario. It's a good investment if Bernanke does as we expect him to do. If he wants to keep printing money every time there's a problem, I mean, that's really all you can do. You can't really blame the guy. And I wish the silver people would keep their mouths shut about it. Let him print the damn money. Don't say he's an idiot. Let the damn silver go up to $2,000 an ounce. You know, it's going to outperform everything. I mean, a loaf of bread might be $20, but you know, it might go up 10 times, but maybe silver go up 50 times, right? Let it. That's the way I say. So, you know, I think a lot, you know, I just want to point out something else too. I've never listened to a lot of these people that are on these very popular silver channels, because I almost immediately start listening to them. And I get turned off by people that talk real polite, like they're trying to kiss your ass. They're only on YouTube to make money, period. That's all. That's all. They got something to sell. They got a newsletter. They got a heavily advertised. And they got 50 million angles out there. They're freaking selling books and newsletters and all this other shit. They don't know what they're doing. People who sell books and newsletters never know what the hell they're doing. Never. It's the people that invest their own money and they're coming out on the top. They know what they're doing. So like their main things that they do, they'll actually keep very tight-lipped about. I think the one guy, and I said this many times before, to really watch very carefully is Mark Farber. Now, if that guy's over 25% invested in gold, your gold is going to do very well. Now, I'm greedy. You know, I got some gold, but I mainly went to palladium versus gold, because I think long term it's going to outperform silver. It's going to way outperform gold. And I got a lot of faith in the Russian devils. They're going to drive that price up really high. You know, maybe they're going to dump it on the market at one point in time, but I hope to catch it on the high. I'm expecting, when I see that ratio, when I see palladium getting near the price of gold, I'm going to start dumping some physical then too. But not until then. But probably this year, I might get out of all brokerage accounts and just go strictly paper cash. Because I'm not totally trusting everything there is that's going on. As a matter of fact, there always is this one winger out there that a lot of people don't think about. And this is one way to destroy the financial system overnight. And it's something that it's been out there for like decades, so it's not something you should freak out about too much. But that's EMP, electronic magnetic pulse. If you have that happen, guess what? Financial system is toast overnight. Electronically, it's toast. And you're screwed. So if you're really using your head, you should get into 100% physical assets all the way. And the stuff that you use, not so much the stuff that you figure it's just going to make you money, like silver. Food is number one, water, power, and firepower. That type of stuff. And I tell you, I do have a very different view of the so-called Illuminati. I think the ones you got to watch out for are the military. I think these guys, I know what the hell these people are like in the business. They're cold-blooded assholes, man. But, these people on YouTube are the same way, too. I mean, you got these pumper and dumpers. They're full of shit. They're just as bad as the people in, J.P. Morgan and Goldman Sachs. They're selling you bullshit. They're liars. I mean, I could see if you can't see through them, that's one reason I agree with this Raw Dog and Corey C. Because if you can't see through these silver clowns, whatever the hell I was calling them, you can't see through them. You're never going to see through Jamie Dimon, or I don't even want to say nothing about Jamie Dimon. I don't think that guy's that bad. You're not going to like me saying that, but I already know your knee-jerk reaction. But I find that people that are pushing these little weasels, that was a word that freaking resonated very well when I heard that word from Raw Dog. That's exactly what I call them, is weasels. You're really getting shit from them. Nothing. They're professional little liars. And, if you can't see through these silver pumper and dumpers, and I'm not saying people are just saying to buy silver, I guess you got to differentiate, because I think silver is a great investment. And I also state that, I wish I bought all Canadian silver, the 99999 shit, and I didn't, but whatever. So, I'm not getting into that kind of garbage, but you know who the hell they are. The Sons of Liberty, don't tread on me. Chris Duane, I never even listened to that shithead. I listened to him like a couple times, and I came aware of I guess he was big out there with the silver thing. I just listened to him for a little while. I says, he's a polite talking snake oil salesman, So, but I want to drive home to the point, though. You really believe in a real serious collapse, better not just be thinking about stupid little coins. I've been actually into this physical assets game from day one. It's just how I think. And number two, if you can't see through these silver pumper and dumpers, you have no concept of what's going on as far as the J.P. Morgan, Goldman Sachs, the Illuminati, and all this other shit. Actually, those people, they're just in a game. They're in a racket. They're on a treadmill, that type of stuff. They're not... I still say you got to watch for the military more than anybody. They're the ones that'll destroy the world. Not these financial people. Financial people are too... They're in another world itself. The military is the ones you got to watch out for.